Hello, and welcome to Xeneta Partner Spotlight. My name is Anka, Customer Marketing Manager at Xeneta, and I'm joined by Sarah, CEO Shipz. Let me start off by saying that helping to digitize the logistics and shipping industries is the core vision of Xeneta. And so we are thrilled to collaborate with forward-thinking companies like Shipz and offer on-demand rate data that will enable shippers to make more informed decisions. Sarah, thank you for joining us. The
Thank
floor is yours.
you so much, Anka. I'm really, happy to be here. I am so happy that we are partnering with Xeneta for, what we are doing over on Ships, which is revolutionizing logistics. And so Ships is a bid, book, and ship platform. We are a marketplace that are bringing together freight forwarders and mid-market importers and exporters. We feel like there's a gap between the freight forwarders and the mid-market importers and exporters when it comes to bidding on their freight, getting their rates, moving their freight. And so we've created this platform to do that. I'm going to give you a little bit of a background on myself so you understand where I'm coming from and how we built this platform. I spent the last 20 years working for a private 3PL. 8 of those years I spent in operations, handling ocean freight and air freight, much more than that. And then I went into sales for about 8 years. So I understand what it's like to be a freight forwarder, and I understand what it's like to be a mid-market importer and exporter because, not only have I lived it, but I've also spoken to many, many mid-market importers and exporters. And so I understand the frustration on both sides, and I feel like collectively there's some frustration there for both forwarders and both importers and exporters, and we want to solve that. We want to stop that. A lot of what they're doing is they're going to 3 to 5 different freight forwarders for every single shipment to get rates. And this is all done by email and Excel, and we want to stop that. We want to take what they're doing, we want to move it online. And so that's what we've created, is a place where mid-market importers and exporters can come to, a platform where they can get real-time industry benchmarking data, but they can also get real-time rates from the forwarders when their shipments are ready. I mean, let's face it, freight forwarders do a lot of work, and some of it they need to do, and some of that we want to change. They're quoting on every single shipment because shippers are looking for costing and not particularly ready to book. But then when they're ready to book, freight forwarders are only getting 1 to 10% of those bookings. We want to change that. We want forwarders to do what they do best, and that is move cargo. And so that's why we've put together this platform. So forwarders can actually come onto our website for free, and they can work with Ships, and they can get access to mid-market importers and exporters globally. What we're doing for them is they no longer have to act as a bank. We're using a third-party vendor that's actually going to be able to extend credit to those shippers. Plus, we're going to have a matchmaking system for the freight forwarders to quote on the shipments that they want to be quoting on, the shipments that they have healthy margins in. And for the shippers, we're changing the game. They have one login, access to multiple different freight forwarders. They've got one vendor account. They no longer have to set up a vendor account for multiple different freight forwarders. And we're keeping everything in the shipment. So all of the messaging, all of the documentation, it's all sitting there in their shipment. So they no longer have to shuffle through emails or lose documents in different folders. And so we're really bringing the market together so that everybody can play in one space. So now I'm going to take you over into the demo portion of this presentation.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see how you're integrating and how you're extracting value from data. Let's see.
Great. So this is the Shipz platform. Very clean. We wanted to go with something that was very, very easy to use. And so I'm going to take you into the shipper's dashboard first. And so the shippers come on board and they put in their shipment details. This is everything from their packing list. They can use their PO number as the shipment name. Summary, we've got a chart for them as far as Incoterms are concerned, just in case they don't know what their Incoterm is, with a drop-down menu to choose the right Incoterm. The freight modes that we have on our platform are air freight, less than container load, 20-foot, 40-foot, 40-foot high cube. And then we also want them to give the freight forwarders an idea of the shipment ready date. This is the note section, so if they need customs to be quoted or insurance to be quoted, they can put the HS codes in there, the value in there, so that the forwarders can quote properly. And then they would go through origin address, delivery address, product details, review, and submit. And this is where it gets fun. So I'm going to show you an example of a shipment. This is an LCL shipment from the UK to Toronto, and this is where the fun begins. So you're actually able to get a Shipz estimate, and this is where we incorporate the Xeneta data. For freight forwarders, it's a lot of work to just do some costing, but they feel like they have to do that to not lose a customer. And so we want the shippers to be able to have access to benchmarking data so they can cost their shipment ahead of time. And then when their shipment is close to being ready, then they can go to the freight forwarders for the quote. And the freight forwarders then feel a lot better quoting on the shipments because it's closer to being ready and they know that they have a better chance of getting this shipment, and they're not just quoting on something that needs pricing so that they can make a decision as to whether they want to purchase the goods or from their suppliers or different things like that. So by pressing this button, you get benchmarking data, and that goes up here so that you can have an idea of cost. And then when the shipment is almost ready, that's when you can allow the providers to quote. So the shippers are getting, the best of both worlds. They're getting posted rates, and then they're also getting real-time rates from the forwarder as their shipments are ready. And so they click the button, it goes out to our freight forwarders, the freight forwarders come back, and the quotes live in here. And again, I was talking about keeping all of the messaging and the documentation all in one place for this one shipment. This opens up into a messaging center, and this opens up into the documentation center. And so the freight forwarder can upload documents, the shipper can upload documents, and in here, there's going to be a free-flowing form so they can talk back and forth. So even if the freight forwarder has 2 or 3 different contacts, it's no longer an issue for the shippers where they're getting multiple different emails from multiple different contacts. Those contacts can use this system to correspond with the shipper for a variety of different reasons. And once they decide to choose a freight forwarder, then they press book, and this all opens up and they can start having a free-flowing dialogue with the freight forwarder.
Wow, you made it sound so easy. Just a click of a button.
Right, that's right.
Yeah, well, thank you so much, Sarah, for sharing what is the secret sauce of Shipz. If you want to learn more about Shipz, please contact your customer success manager or Sarah. Thank you.
Thank you, Anka.